For an event that claims to celebrate the best in music, the Grammys sure have a way of rubbing artists the wrong way. From disregarding entire genres to making questionable award decisions, the Recording Academy has found itself at the center of controversy more times than we can count. Over the years, numerous musicians have called out the ceremony for its lack of respect, transparency, and fairness. Let's dive into the scandalous secrets of the Grammys, as revealed by the artists themselves. Hip-hop gets the cold shoulder. If you've ever felt like the Grammys don't take hip-hop seriously, you're not alone, and history proves it. Back in 1989, Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff were nominated for the first-ever Best Rap Performance Award, a groundbreaking moment for the genre. But the celebration was short-lived. The Recording Academy decided that rap wasn't worthy of the primetime spotlight and refused to air the category on television. Imagine being at the forefront of a cultural revolution, only to be told your success isn't good enough for the main stage. This blatant disregard didn't sit well with Smith and Jeff, who chose to boycott the event in protest. Speaking to Entertainment Tonight, Will Smith explained, "We don't have a problem with the Grammys as an institution. We just have a problem with the 1989 version of the show. Their stand wasn't just personal, it became a movement." Salt and Pepa, LL Cool J, and other hip-hop icons followed suit, refusing to participate in what they saw as an ongoing pattern of disrespect. Over the years, the boycott became a recurring theme, with artists like Jay-Z, Public Enemy, and Tupac calling out the Grammys for continuously undervaluing black artists and the hip-hop genre as a whole. Even as rap music became the dominant force in pop culture, the Recording Academy struggled to keep up, often relegating hip-hop to lesser categories or snubbing artists entirely. Nicki Minaj's Grammy snub, a mystery for the ages. Fast forward to 2020, and the frustration with the Grammys only intensified. This time, it was Nicki Minaj, one of the most commercially successful and influential female rappers in history, who called out the Academy for its questionable choices. Taking to Twitter, she reminded fans of one of the biggest Grammy injustices in recent history. She pointed out how, in 2012, despite having 7 songs charting on the Billboard Hot 100 simultaneously, she was snubbed for Best New Artist. Instead, the award went to indie folk band Bon Iver, leaving hip-hop fans and even some mainstream audiences perplexed. How could an artist who dominated an entire year with hits like Superbass and Starships be overlooked? The answer remains unclear, but it fits into a larger pattern of hip-hop artists being sidelined in major categories. And Nicki wasn't alone in her frustration. Back in 2004, 50 Cent faced a similar snub, losing Best New Artist to alternative rock band Evanescence. But in true 50 Cent fashion, he didn't just sit back and accept it. Instead, he casually walked onto the stage during Evanescence's acceptance speech, circled the podium, and left without saying a word. It was the ultimate silent protest, a moment that is still referenced today. Years later, while receiving his Hollywood Walk of Fame star, he jokingly remarked, "They gave that award to Evanescence. Have you all seen them since that night?" A savage reminder that sometimes the Grammys don't exactly have their finger on the pulse of long-term success. Whether it's Nicki, 50 Cent, or countless other rappers, the pattern is clear. Hip-hop continues to be treated as an outsider, even when it's clearly leading the charge in global music trends. The Grammys versus Beyoncé, a never-ending saga. If there's one artist who has had a complicated relationship with the Grammys, it's Beyoncé. In 2015, Kanye West nearly had another Taylor Swift moment when he stormed the stage to protest Beck winning Album of the Year over Queen Bee. He later told E! News, "Beck should have handed that award to Beyoncé. This is a slap in the face to art." Then came 2017, when Adele beat Beyoncé Lemonade for Album of the Year. While accepting the award, even Adele herself seemed confused, stating, "I can't possibly accept this award, Beyoncé. You are the artist of my life." She later revealed that she told Beyoncé backstage that the Grammys just didn't understand the artistic and cultural significance of Lemonade. Honestly, at this point, it feels like the Grammys just enjoy playing with Beyoncé emotions. Even in 2024, Jay-Z, Beyoncé's husband, publicly called out the Grammys for their hypocrisy. While accepting the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award, He said, "Beyoncé has the most Grammys of anyone, but has never won Album of the Year. Even by your own standards, that doesn't make sense." He's got a point. If the math isn't mathing, what's really going on behind the scenes? Janet Jackson and the Super Bowl fall out. The 2004 Super Bowl halftime show should have been another career-defining moment for Janet Jackson, an artist who had already cemented herself as a pop and R&B icon. Instead, it turned into one of the most infamous media firestorms in entertainment history. During the live performance of Rock Your Body, Justin Timberlake pulled off part of Janet's costume, exposing her breast for less than a second on national television. The moment was later dubbed a wardrobe malfunction, but the backlash was anything but accidental. While Justin walked away from the controversy relatively unscathed, Janet was thrown into a storm of media outrage, industry blacklisting, and career sabotage. The Federal Communications Commission slapped CBS with a $550,000 fine, and conservative figures demanded Janet be banned from future events. She was disinvited from the Grammys, had her music pulled from major radio stations and MTV, and saw her career take a sudden nosedive, a direct result of the industry turning its back on her. Meanwhile, Justin Timberlake was also initially uninvited from the Grammys, but there was a catch: both artists were told they could only attend if they apologized on air. Janet, unwilling to take full blame for an incident that was clearly not her fault alone, refused. Justin, on the other hand, complied, attended the Grammys, performed, and walked away with 2 awards. This moment only reinforced the industry's double standard, where women, especially black women, were held to a much harsher standard than their male counterparts. Years later, in 2021, following the release of the documentary, The New York Times Presents Malfunction: The Dressing Down of Janet Jackson, Justin issued a public apology to Janet, admitting that he had benefited from an unfair system. But by then, the damage had already been done. Janet had spent years fighting for her career, all because of an incident that was blown out of proportion and used to vilify her, while Justin had been allowed to continue on as a celebrated pop star. The entire scandal remains one of the most glaring examples of how the entertainment industry punishes women more harshly than men, and for many, it's something that still hasn't been fully rectified. Ariana Grande's feud with the Grammys. Ariana Grande pulled back the curtain on the Grammys in 2019 after she decided to withdraw from performing at the ceremony. Reports surfaced claiming that she had canceled her performance due to a lack of preparation time. But Ari wasn't about to let that narrative fly. She took to Twitter to call out then executive producer Ken Ehrlich, stating, "I can put a performance together overnight. You know that, Ken." She went on to reveal that the real issue was that the Grammys were trying to control her song choices. "It's about feeling supported. It's about art and honesty, not politics and playing games." That year, she skipped the ceremony entirely, but ironically won her first Grammy for Sweetener. The following year, she did attend and even performed, but despite multiple nominations, she walked away empty-handed. More recently, after her Eternal Sunshine album received 0 Grammy nods, she decided to skip the 2024 show altogether. Moral of the story: speak up against the Grammys at your own risk. The Grammys are not the end-all be-all. At this point, it's clear that the Grammys have a long history of making questionable decisions. Whether it's disrespecting entire genres, overlooking legendary artists, or engaging in industry politics, the Recording Academy has a lot to answer for. But does it even matter anymore? With artists like Beyoncé, Nicki Minaj, and Ariana Grande proving that commercial success and cultural impact speak louder than a golden trophy, it might be time for musicians to stop seeking validation from an institution that clearly plays by its own rules. So, what do you think? Are the Grammys a legitimate celebration of music, or just an exclusive club with a biased rulebook? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Grammy scandals, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the latest entertainment news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.